Since we know that about 90% of options expire worthless, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a difficult market to trade, but it suggests that it may be. And unless you are very sophisticated and understand options, I think they can probably be used to protect yourself instead of using stops. If you're long, you could buy a put. But to simply buy a put or a call because you think the market's going up or down, I think can be difficult. This kind of underscores it. Deliberate concealment and poor internal controls were behind a loss of $128.1 million incurred by National Westminster Bank Limited from options trading. So here we have a major bank. If anybody can be a manipulator or have inside knowledge, you think it would be a bank that can play around with $128 million. Of course, that's what Ted Turner is going to give away per week or whatever it is, right? Can you imagine that gift to Ted Turner's? $1 billion, $100 million a year to the United Nations? Like, I think what he should do is give it to small business people. Absolutely no homeless people. Give it to people that have businesses so they can go out and hire the homeless people instead of giving it to Swahili or someplace. Amazing gift. But anyway, here we have a great example of proof that they, the vested majority interest in the world, a large bank in England, doesn't know what the hell they're doing trading the option market. So they got to conceal it. And this is not a unique situation. This has happened in a lot of instances. So this article fascinated me. It showed, A, that people don't really have everything rigged in the marketplace, and B, option trading can be extremely risky and dangerous. And if you wonder about them versus us, one of my favorite stories is many years ago when gold was real hot. I was in New York City. My secretary called and said, Larry, there's a guy's head of Swiss Bank wants to talk with you. He's like the number 2 guy in the bank. I said, well, I'd love to talk to him because I'm going to find out what gold's going to do. Because I had no idea. I didn't have a clue what gold was going to do. And I figured if I talk to him, I can find out what gold's going to do. So I called the guy up and said, well, Mr. Williams, so pleased to meet you. We'd like to hire you to consult to tell us where the price of gold will go. I was going to ask him. He's going to pay me, right? And I thought a guy that far up in a major bank in Switzerland would probably have a better sense of gold than I would. But in fact, he was as confused as I was, which underscores the point I made the other evening. The market is full of confusion. And what usually happens, there's a little bit of order to it, and we technicians try to make chaos out of what little order is there. It's a chaotic thing to begin with. The markets are actually simplistic, yet extremely complex. And we technicians, people that bring in charts and computers and all this stuff, I think make it overly complex because we think the market, that we are the center of the universe of commodity trading. And my belief system is we are absolutely not the center of the universe. We're a couple light years away from the center of the universe. The center of the universe of commodity trading are the commercial interests. The reason that the exchanges were set up was not to facilitate guys with chart books. And I always get a kick out of chartists. They get their chart and they draw a line, but you can always say, yeah, but you know one thing about that line, if you do that with a number 2 lead pencil instead of a number 3 lead pencil, the breakout wouldn't be valid because it's thicker lead. Oh, I didn't think of that, they say. It's that arcane and that subjective. Yet their actual purpose is why the markets exist. It's to facilitate commerce. So I'll give you a couple of examples. This is old hat to a lot of you, but not necessarily a bad thing to look at over and over again. I'm just grabbing charts because somebody else grabbed my charts. We'll take a look at whatever this is, the D-Mark. There's a major high in the D-Mark back in 1995, and if we look at the commercials, which is this little line down at the bottom of the chart, the commercials were at a large short position shortly before the high. Before this low and pretty good rally, look where the commercials are, the longest long position they've been. On this big decline that starts, look where they are, the largest short position, in other words, down the lowest on this chart that we can see for a long time period, for like a year and a half, 2 years. So I'm convinced that one of the most fundamental concepts of the marketplace is following the commercials. And a general operating rule is when they are doing the most buying they've done for the last year, the market's probably close to a low. When they're doing the most selling they have for the last year, the market's probably close to a high. It's simple. These guys know more than we know. Pure and simple. So we should follow them in terms of a long-term understanding of the marketplace. That they are critical to knowing what's going on in the market. Oh, here's one of my favorite examples right here. There's copper. Notice a little decline right here. It took place in the copper market. Look what happened just before that decline. The commercials were down here at the lowest level of short selling for about a year and a half since this high, when they were also at a pretty large short position, right here. In other words, this matches up with this. And if we look down here and see what the public was doing, they were also very bullish. So we have a great juxtaposition, a battle going on. The commercials are bearish. They've been the largest sellers that they have for the last 18, 24 months. And the public is the most bullish that they've been for about the same time period, about a year. So the public is wildly bullish, and the commercials are wildly bearish. Who's going to win? Evander Holyfield or me in a boxing ring? I'm the public. I think Evander probably will. I mean, if I take off what's left of his ears. That was an amazing thing, wasn't it? Well, we should still see the uninformed lose money. The uninformed, the public, you people, God bless you, have a wonderful ability to come into this business and do the wrong thing at the wrong time. Consistently. For years. One of my brokers has had a client who's traded and lost money every single year for about 10, 11 years now. 2 years ago, he talked to the guy and he says, you know, Ben, he says, I love having you as a client, but it bothers me every year you lose about $25,000, $30,000. Have you ever thought about just not trading? He said, you know, I don't have to have your business. I've got other clients. And the guy said, you know, Ed, he says, I've thought about that, but damn, I don't chase girls. I don't go to Las Vegas. I don't have any other fun thing I do in my life. So this is what I do. I says, okay, I'll take your business. But that's almost a cavalier attitude people have, like we've got to get rid of some money here or something, I guess. And I mean, this guy's not the only guy with that attitude, I think, based on the number of people I see who are losing money in the market for really dumb reasons. One of the reasons that you lose money in the market is you get very emotional. At this rally point that we saw in copper, the public was extremely bullish. Look back here. This is the measure of the public. Because the higher this indicator is, the more bullish they are. This is the percentage. 70% of them are bullish here, and like 20% are bullish down here. Interestingly enough, notice at this low where we were. Less than 20% of the public was bullish. This is based on Market Bain's Investor Sentiment Index. What's fascinating is if you think about what you learned in economics and college. Oh, I can't do that, can I? Sorry about that. Darn. Sunday morning, keep the jacket on. I should be wearing bibs and coveralls instead, right? How do they wire you up? I'm wired. You're wired, right? What? Good, because I got some great jokes I can tell you now. Sorry about that. Which one? Is that live?